Iana, it's not a duplicate, so that's like a separate screen on the side of this. So when you take over,
Okay.
it's to the right.
Hello everyone, my name is Iana and this is my partner Dawson. And one of the greatest advantages of Bitcoin is that you can reduce your risk by having different wallets and keeping your money in different wallets. Well, that's a great advantage. A great disadvantage of that is that at any given point, you may not actually know how much money you own collectively in all of those wallets. I find that to be a problem because I want to know at any given point how much money do I own, and I want everyone else to be able to know how much is their net worth at that current point. And Dawson will address how we address that in our solution.
So our solution right here is a web app, and what it does is you put in multiple public addresses, so there's no private key trusts with us, which I know everyone will love. You enter these public multiple addresses, which Iana will be doing as I'm speaking, and what we do is we query the blockchain, or I mean the chain API, apologize, for the amount that's within those wallets. We sum them all up, and we display your total net worth live, real time, based upon the current Bitcoin price. So we query another API for the Bitcoin price. We multiply it by the Bitcoin amount that you have in your account, and that shows us how much you have. And I know that some of you may be investors. I personally like to invest in Bitcoin, and sometimes I get paranoid about the price changes. So this gives you a great way to see what the price changes are. As you'll notice, once we get this, once we solve a few technical issues, we switch between green and red depending on whether the price is currently at an increase or decrease based upon the previous query. And so that gives you a quick heads up when you visit the page as to whether, it's very short term, but whether the most recent transactions were lower or higher in price. Another great feature we have is that while you're browsing in other windows, you're able to view up here your total net worth in dollars. Do you want me to switch?
Yeah, that would be great. So what's great about that is that at the top of the bar, you can view at any given point where your net worth is. So even if you have several windows open, you don't have to have that particular window open to see where your net worth is at that current point. It will continue to update every 5 seconds. And Dawson
And refresh the page.
that might be it.
Because it wasn't doing a page refresh on those entries. We also had Wi-Fi problems throughout the event that we plugged in for.
Yeah, the wireless fell. Can you stop the time for a second? The wireless fell, so it's not really their fault.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd love to put this address in before we start the time again as well. So what I'm doing, which I believe is off-screen for you all, is I'm just copying a public key. I have 3 examples set up, and all they are is public keys we grabbed off of recent transaction history to make sure that they had valid entries for Bitcoin prices. So that was, I suppose, now's a good time to start it again, but that was a really small wallet amount, and I'm going to go ahead and copy over some more, and we'll see, and we'll watch it as it changes as well. So up here you see the current public addresses that are within our system, and as we add more and more, it will update the price in here. So that right there was an empty wallet. It didn't change at all, and that's one of the risks of this live demo is that some of these wallets have become empty since we loaded them up, and also that red shows that it just went down in price. Is that time? So I believe this is question.
Thank you, and if we can answer any questions at this moment.
Is that a add-on to Chrome that gets the dollar amount up in that tab like that?
So
you guys used, or is that something more just like dynamic HTML or something?
Yeah, so up there, that's dynamic HTML that we call through the API response that we have. The same thing that generates this, you're actually able to do it in HTML up there. Yeah. I'll put it in the title. It's actually not too bad. It's actually like 2 lines, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I was surprised too. I'd never done that.
That's cool.
So does this track it over time, or do you have to manually enter in the address?
So at the moment, you do have to manually enter it in every time. But part of the reason we did that is because it allows for added security, less trust, either way you see it. Because although most people aren't this way, I have heard of people who are afraid of their identity being associated with their public keys. In which case, because we're over HTTP connection, this actually means that your IP address is associated with your public keys. And so there's no association at the moment because everything is client-side, which means it's all in the browser, and we don't store any data about this because we're not running the servers that keep the logs of it.
Could you paste in that whole list of common delimited keys right in there and hit submit, and then just do it all at once, or do you have to go one at a time?
So at the moment, you do have to go one at a time. I didn't implement the parser for that yet.
Any ideas for the other cryptocurrencies and bringing them in at all? Or?
Yeah, so one thing that I really noticed actually when we were looking at this issue and researching current solutions is that a lot of the solutions, although you can put in multiple amounts and like you can view different markets, there's no one central service that shows you your total net worth among multiple services. So like the reason I thought this was so innovative was because it shows your net worth in your tab. So for instance, I love using this tab right here because it shows me the current Bitcoin price. And so while I'm in class, while I'm doing homework, whatever it is, I can glance over and see like, whoa, it just jumped $10 or dropped $20 or something because it's so volatile. Well, we can show the worth right here, and yeah, future plans would absolutely be allowing separate integration where you enter other altcoin or investments.
Great, thank you so